And India Today is the only Indian channel reporting live from Kyiv, the Ukrainian capital, as it comes under the most devastating attack in 229 days of war. There are several other places that have been attacked and reduced to debris, but Kyiv has been attacked in this manner by Putin's forces for the first time. I'm going to take you to the ground in just a moment and show you what's happening. First, the headlines at 5. Communal clashes rock Bengal's Mominpur area in Kolkata. Vandalism, arson on the streets. Bengal BJP writes to the Home Minister, seeks deployment of central forces to stop the riots. I have a full report on this in a short while. Big day in the Uddhav-Shinde symbol war. Shinde Sena submits mace, trumpet and sword as poll symbols against Uddhav's Trishul, torch and rising sun. Gujarat Aam Aadmi Party chief hurls casteist slur at Prime Minister, calls Modi neech. BJP slams Kejriwal, demands his sacking. Samajwadi Party patriarch Mulayam Singh Yadav passes away at 82. Tributes pour in from across the country. Prime Minister expresses condolences. Mortal remains reach the Yadav stronghold of Saifai, where Mulayam was born.
उनका जाना देश के लिए एक बहुत बड़ी क्षति है। मैं ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करता हूं कि उनके परिवार, उनके समर्थकों को ये दुख सहने की शक्ति दे।
Mulayam Singh Yadav's last rites to be conducted in his ancestral village Saifai. UP Chief Minister orders full state honours for Mulayam. 3-day mourning announced in the state. Just 2 days after a dramatic attack that destroyed part of a bridge in Russian-controlled Crimea, southern part of the Ukraine region, this is what Putin's forces have replied with, this time targeting not just any city, but the capital city of Ukraine, Kyiv. Buildings demolished, playgrounds attacked, bridges damaged in missile attacks, several bits of infrastructure destroyed, and many civilian deaths of an unspecified number, because those attacks have continued through the last many hours, and they're continuing even as we bring you this live report. Remember that India Today continues to be the only Indian channel reporting from the ground in Kyiv, the Ukrainian capital, that has come under an increased Russian attack that is seen to be retribution for the Crimean bridge attack. This is a huge flare-up in Ukraine that is being seen as a revenge move by President Putin just days after he claimed to have annexed different regions of Ukraine, increasing the size of Russia, reducing the size of Ukraine, and escalating the war on that country, a war that began 229 days ago at the end of February. Remember, like I said, India Today continues to be the only channel reporting from the ground with correspondents. Denis Bakhmachuk is live with us from Kyiv. Seri Mirankov is our correspondent, also live from Kyiv. Lulia Mendel is former press secretary to President Volodymyr Zelensky. She also joins us live from the Ukrainian capital. We've got Lisa Yasko, who's a well-known Ukrainian member of parliament. Welcome to all of you. I will be with them in just a moment. This is just to tell you that in a moment we will have live voices from Kyiv, the city, the capital of Ukraine that is currently under attack. But first, I want to take our viewers through the defining images of today's attack on the Ukrainian capital. It's the 229th day of the war, and Russia has amped up its assault, seen to be a revenge move for the Crimea bridge attack. Multiple blasts rocked the capital city of Kyiv today. Ukrainian officials claim at least 8 civilians have been killed, 24 injured after Russian missiles pummeled the heart of the capital city. Russian missiles rained on Kyiv in this viral video. A shocked Ukrainian civilian live-streamed blasts as they happened not very far from here. Her condition is not known just yet, but clearly that missile hit very, very close to her. As the Russian onslaught rages on, Vladimir Putin's special forces launched missiles which also hit a playground in a central part of Kyiv. These are images of the devastation and the debris immediately after the missile strike. Russian President Putin is upping the ante against Ukraine, and what you're seeing is part of it. A bridge in Kyiv or right around it could also be seen being destroyed in a missile attack. The explosion completely destroyed this Ukrainian bridge and was also an echo of the Crimean bridge, which was destroyed a couple of days ago. As always, residential buildings, bridges, civilian infrastructure are being specifically targeted by Russian missiles. Strikes on at least 8 regions of Ukraine, including most dramatically in the capital city of Kyiv. This after Russia vowed to amp up its assault following the Crimean bridge blast. It's difficult to believe that it's been 229 days since Russia began what it calls a special operation. What is really just an invasion and a war on Ukraine. Since then, untold hundreds have lost their lives. Livelihoods have been destroyed, cities have been reduced to rubble, and life by no means remains the same for a country that is now a war-torn nation. But the buck does not stop there. 4 Ukrainian regions have been annexed by Vladimir Putin, and today's attacks on Ukraine's capital Kyiv, among many other regions, prove that the reign of damage and destruction for this country is far from over. Take a look at this latest ground report. Death, mayhem, panic, and chaos. Putin's fury scorching Ukraine again, 229 days into the invasion. Russian missile strikes pummeling Ukraine and its capital Kyiv at the forefront of this fresh escalation.
У мене трясуться руки, тому що я щойно побачила, як летить ракета. І я почула це.
This amateur video of a civilian captures the blasts in Kyiv with all its devastating effect. A playground for children, residential buildings, bridges and highways in the heart of the Ukrainian capital, all turned to dust by this renewed Russian onslaught. Coming just days after a big attack on a Russian-controlled bridge in Crimea. Civilians were seen taking shelter in underground metro and railway stations. Ukraine's president and commander-in-chief on the streets of war-battered Kyiv in war fatigues, hitting out at these attacks, calling them an act of terrorism by Putin's forces.
The morning is difficult. We are dealing with terrorists, dozens of missiles, Iranian shaheeds. They have 2 targets, energy facilities throughout the country, Kyiv region and Khmelnytsky region. They want to destroy our energy system. They are hopeless. The second target is people. Such a time and such targets were specially chosen to cause as much damage as possible. Stay in shelters today. Always follow the safety rules. And always remember, Ukraine was before this enemy appeared. Ukraine will be after them.
The fresh onslaught in the spotlight after the vital Crimea bridge connecting the annexed region with Russian mainland was destroyed in a mystery blast. Russian President Putin has accused Ukraine and President Zelensky of targeting the bridge and unleashing what he calls acts of terror.
As you just reported, there is no doubt it was a terrorist act directed at the destruction of critically important civilian infrastructure of Russian Federation, and the authors, perpetrators and those who ordered it are the special services of Ukraine.
The attacks make one thing clear. 229 days later, the war and reign of devastation has still not ended for Ukraine. With Sehri Marankov in Kyiv, Ukraine, Bureau Report, India Today. And I want to first go across to India Today's reporters on the ground in Kyiv that has come under perhaps the biggest attack in 229 days of war. Denis Bakhmachuk is our correspondent. He's in Kyiv right now. Denis, you are in one of the areas not far from where the missiles actually hit. How bad is the damage? What can you see and what can you tell us, Denis? Dennis, you're on mute. Can you unmute your phone, please?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead, Dennis. We can hear you now.
Okay. I'm right in the place. It's Volodymyr Street, where one of the missiles struck today at 8 in the morning in Ukraine. It's right behind my back. You can see also the windows in the houses which are behind my back. There are no more windows because they were hit out by the blast. And also behind my back there, you can see this building is called the Teachers Building. And it is also damaged a lot. But there is already police and other services here that are working, doing their best to clean up the place and so that the civilians will be safe. Before that, here was Vitaly Klitschko, the mayor of Kyiv, and he said that this is a genocide of Ukraine, because here behind me and in all directions there is no military structures or objects, but right behind my back here you can see a Kyiv National University of Taras Shevchenko, one of the oldest universities in Ukraine. The video of a girl which was before me, where she was hiding from damages, it was right here. This is where she was walking. And also, this is not the only place which was stricken by the Russian missiles. From the morning, there were 83 Russian missiles blasted at Ukraine. 43 of them were destroyed and disabled by air forces and air defense forces of Ukraine. But the other 43, they hit the different buildings. As Denis Shmyhal, the prime minister of Ukraine, informed, he said that 11 infrastructure buildings were destroyed or damaged in 8 different regions and in Kyiv. Although they...
Dennis, just stay with me for a second. I also want to get in a word from Serhiy Mirankov, who's also on the ground there in Kyiv. Serhiy, how bad is it? You know, you've been out on the roads of Kyiv right through this entire conflict. What are you able to see and tell us today, Serhiy? Serhiy, can you hear me? Okay, we'll get back to Serhiy in just a moment. Those are our 2 reporters who are out on the streets.
Please, guys, if you hear me, just make me a bit louder. I don't hear questions. I hear something, but not normally.
Okay, Serhiy, I can hear you. Serhiy, can you hear me? I was just asking you, what are you seeing? What can you tell us about the current situation in Kyiv?
Louder.
I'll tell you what, we'll fix that in just a moment. Before we go to the Ukrainian MPs and our other guests who are live with us from Kyiv, I want to show you one of the newest pictures that has just come out. A video of a Russian ship. This counterattack by missiles is continuing non-stop, viewer. Remember, the attack by Russia on Kyiv comes just days after the Crimean bridge attack. That was something that was seen right across the world. Here are video images now coming in of a Russian ship, possibly in the Black Sea, launching missiles on an unspecified target in Ukraine. Russia's Ministry of Defense says all assigned targets are part of this operation. Ukraine says at least 10 people have been killed, 60 wounded in today's missile strikes alone. Let me get the names of my guests on my screen back on our screen. Seri, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Here, guys. Good. Hi, India.
Hi, Seri. I hope you're well. We're looking at images of more missile strikes taking place by the Russian Navy. What are you seeing in Kyiv?
Like right now in Kyiv, like more than a few hours ago, the air attack was cancelled, and right now the municipal services are working hard to do their best to clean everything. Like right now in my hand, there is a slice of the Russian rocket, which missiles near to the playground that's behind me, and it damaged. It's caused a lot of damage to the buildings, which are on the opposite side. It's historical buildings, more than 100 years. They were staying normally, but right now they are without the windows. You see it. And this is also the attack on the museum. Right now, I will show it to you. National Museum. There's no more windows on the background. This is the Kyiv morning for today. Studio?
Yes.
Studio.
Are the attacks still happening at this time, Seri? Are the attacks still happening? Are the missiles still hitting at this time?
No. Right now there is no attack like on Kyiv, but some attack still is going on Ukraine.
Yeah.
Like on the other regions, on the crucial infrastructure, on the heating system, on the electricity systems. Kyiv right now, like becoming to the normal life.
Okay, I hope that continues. I really hope that continues. But this was a bad one. The last few hours in Kyiv have been bad. I also want to get in a word, and we're getting as many voices as we possibly can. Remember, viewer, India Today continues to be the only channel reporting from the ground in Kyiv, and that's why we have this special broadcast. Lulia Mendel, former press secretary to President Zelensky, is also with us in that administration. Lulia, welcome. This is being seen as a revenge attack, Lulia, for what happened to the bridge in Crimea. How are you seeing it? What's the situation?
Well, if we talk about the Crimean bridge, let me say that there is no confirmation who has done this. But definitely this was used as a provocation to start shelling of Ukrainian cities today. And you were correct that at first there were around 8 regions that suffered. Now at least 11 regions were attacked by missiles. And we see that people report they don't have light, they don't have water anymore because the civilian infrastructure was destroyed. Also, we've learned today, our commander-in-chief of Ukrainian army said that Russia shelled at least 75 missiles in the morning into Ukraine. 41 of these missiles was hit by air defense of Ukraine, but other parts really brought a lot of damage. Right now we know about at least eight dead people in Kyiv, but also we know that there are dead people in other regions. For instance, in Dnipropetrovsk, we've heard about 4 deaths, and I'm sure that there will be more till the evening.
Okay, so 75 missiles apparently fired into Ukraine today. A number of those obviously hitting Kyiv as well. Lisa Yasko is a member of parliament in Ukraine as well. Lisa, what are you hearing? It's been 229 days of this, of this invasion, of this so-called special operation. What's happened in Kyiv today? Is it one of the worst attacks so far in the capital city?
Well, currently I'm in Strasbourg during the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, and all of us, we woke up with the terrible news today from what is happening around all Ukraine. Yes, today is actually a very similar feeling to the day when the war actually has started, because there were more than 70 missiles coming from different parts, targeting different cities in Ukraine, and Kyiv unfortunately suffered today, and there are killed and wounded. And I was just watching very shocking photos of my alma mater university in very, very central Kyiv, and there are no windows in many parts of the building, but of course the main thing is about the people's lives. And I want also to thank you actually for that you are reporting on that, because we really need more communication with the Indian society, and I'm very glad to know there are reporters working for the Indian TV in Kyiv right now. Thank you for that.
I understand what you're saying, and I also want to tell you and assure the people of Ukraine that India Today has been on the ground since the beginning. We've been there since the first day. We haven't left, and we're continuing to report it because it's an important story for us. There have been many Indians in Ukraine. There are many Ukrainians who live here in India. So this is an important story for us. We're not covering it just because it's a war. It's an important story for the world to be watching. Please stay with me for just a few more minutes.
Thank you.
I want to show our viewers, not just is India Today the only channel reporting from Ground Zero Kyiv. Here's a report on the latest situation from the capital city itself, from where the attacks actually took place. These are exclusive ground reports.
We are in the Kyiv downtown, where it was attacked early morning by Russian rockets. The result of rocket attacks in Kyiv, 5 people were killed and more than 20 people were injured. The university building, National Museum, residential and offices buildings were damaged. One of the rockets fell on the playground. God bless, there were not any kids on the ground. After a few hours, despite the heavy attacks in Kyiv downtown, only jagged windows remaining about the attack. When an attack on the underground hit infrastructure,
Good afternoon, studio. I am located now in Kyiv city in Ukraine. Right behind my back you can see one of the places where this morning the Russian missiles strike. As you can see, there is really no military objects or structures around me, but there is a Kyiv National University of Trasovchenko not far away. So, as we can understand, the Russian aim into civilian infrastructure. This morning here, their people getting to work. As you can see, the results of the strike, there is a great hole in the ground, and also in this building there is no windows. This wasn't the only strike this morning. The Russia fired 83 missiles. 43 of them were disabled and destroyed by Air Defense Forces of Ukraine. But 43 striked a lot of different cities of Ukraine. As Denis Shmyhal, the Prime Minister of Ukraine, informed, 11 objects of civilian infrastructure were damaged, and in 8 regions and Kyiv. Also, in Kyiv, as for now, the Speaker of State Emergency Service informed that there are 20 people injured, and that number may rise. Although I would like to say that in some streets of Kyiv there is no electricity, and although the air siren was for 3.5 hours, now it is off, and people can leave the shelters, but the local government does not recommend to leave the shelters and recommends to stay home or in the shelters.
And we continue to get you the top voices from Ukraine on a day when 75 missiles have hit different parts of the city. Also being joined live now by Lyudmila Buimister. She's a member of Parliament of Ukraine. I apologize if I've mispronounced your name, Lyudmila. Go ahead and tell us, what is the current situation in Kyiv? What are you hearing? What are you seeing?
This morning, as you all already know, Kyiv and all other major Ukrainian cities was under a severe bombing attack from Russian army. Our forces of anti-missile worked very well.
Yeah.
And were able to eliminate almost half of the attack. But however, some missiles hit their targets.
Yeah.
As a result, for example, in the city of Kyiv, the electro station, coal-fired power plant was hit, and we still are eliminating the results of this attack, and we will see how the electrical infrastructure will be damaged, but it's already clear that some disruptions in electricity supplies are going to be experienced in the next days to come in Kyiv, but also in other parts of the country, as Russia deliberately aimed at electrical infrastructure.
Yes, that's right.
It was not a strike against military targets. It was a strike against civil infrastructure, to terrorize Ukrainians, to terrorize civilians, to leave them without water and electricity and utility supplies. But we see it from the very morning. Ukraine is not afraid, is not going to be afraid. We're going to survive and rebuild everything, and we're going to beat Russia and win this war. And the determination today became even higher.
The determination became even higher, but it's been 229 days, and that question is going to continue to linger. Lisa Yasko, that if I could bring that question to you, Ukrainians must wonder how long more this is going to, go on for. It's been 229 days. You've got the Russian president talking about annexing parts of Ukraine. He's tried to redraw the entire map, and now you have this big escalation.
I don't have the best connection now, but I hopefully heard your question. What about the number of the days? Well, I can say that we don't really feel the days anymore. We just know that we are in very existential mode. We are losing our people, and we are very determined to bring our territories back. But one thing that I today was stressing out in one of the political meetings here in Europe is that, we don't need hugs. We don't need our condolences. This is, of course, is important, but now it's the time for the real help and the real actions to stop the evil. And what it can be only military support, and it can be only the full isolation of Russia, calling Russia a terrorist state and cutting all the economic ties, because we know that unfortunately there are countries that still run business with Russia. And with that money, Russia is actually managing to kill thousands of people every day in Ukraine, which is incredibly painful, but we need to stop it. We need to stop it, and we need we need also India a lot. Please hear this. We want to have the peaceful future tomorrow, and we want to have also the economy that is working, and we want to have completely new world order where there will be no such evil anymore.
I really hope that day is soon, but after 229 days, like you said, it's become the new normal. Lulia, if I could give you the last word, where do you think this is going? What do you think is going to happen next? After 229 days, as Lisa said, it's become existential. It's become the new normal. Very soon it'll be 1 year since the war began. What next?
Well, thank you. First of all, let me say that there are tactical decisions, because President Zelensky meeting of G7, and he actually wants the world to stay closer to us. I actually was at the front line yesterday, and I saw Ukrainian military, and the people there, they are very brave, and they believe that they can regain Ukrainian territory. So I feel like we will be regaining Ukrainian territory back that was taken after February 24 until winter. And this is the most important thing, to leave our cities safe, to regain as much territory as possible, so that Putin understands that he is defeated, and that Putin understands that we're strong enough to stay independent country and to fight them back.
Thank you very much, Lisa, Lulia and Ludmila for joining us on this. We very much value the voices of Ukrainians at this extremely difficult time. It's been 229 days and like I said, India Today continues to be the only Indian channel reporting live from Ukraine, getting you all those images and live reports on a situation that is still continuing to unfold in that country. Now here are some more horrifying images that are coming out of Ukraine. Like I said, one cannot keep up with the devastation. A video camera captured the movement of a morning attack near the Arch of Freedom in Kyiv. This is just this morning. The Ukrainian capital is under a huge attack after that Crimean bridge was blown up. The Kyiv skyline has been full of smoke today after the Russian serial missile attack. Ukrainian authorities have confirmed at least 8 to 10 people and more than 24 injured in the capital city. Another video shows cracks appearing on a highway in Kyiv. The commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine said Russia has fired over 75 missiles, of which 41 have been destroyed by air defense systems. Videos and photos show the aftermath of Russia's attack on Kyiv today. Firefighters were seen dousing fires on vehicles that had been damaged in the strike. Bodies were also seen lying along the roads, reminiscent of the early days of the operation. A business center in Kyiv was also destroyed. Captured on camera, images show shattered glass and a portion of the building in the Ukrainian capital pretty much destroyed. Eight different parts of Kyiv and the rest of Ukraine were destroyed or attacked in Russian missile fire from early this morning. 229 days of war. The before and after continues to be the most hair-raising way to tell a story that is still not over. Russia has stepped up its onslaught against Ukraine once again. Back-to-back missile strikes and explosions have rocked the capital Kyiv. 8 people killed, 24 injured in repeated blasts across 8 regions in Kyiv. The capital, once brimming with life and commercial infrastructure, many parts of it returning to normal, have been hit and reduced to rubble due to heavy Russian shelling and missile attacks. These are images of what Kyiv looked like before and what it looks like now. Meanwhile, Zaporizhia, which contains Europe's largest nuclear plant, has remained the worst hit city as missile strikes have leveled several buildings across this southeastern metropolis of Ukraine. At least a dozen people were killed, over 49 hospitalized after a series of fresh missile strikes on the city. Back-to-back strikes have reduced much of the city to rubble. This is a before and after. Russian attacks have intensified after a blast of the Crimean bridge. Here's a look at what the trigger point for today's violence really was. The bridge before and then the bridge after. What's happening today widely being seen as a revenge attack for what you're seeing on your screen in the Crimean region. Our coverage of what's happening in Ukraine will continue non-stop here on India Today. On the other side of this break here on 5 Live, we bid farewell and pay tribute to Kerala's own vegetarian temple crocodile Babia, part of the Ananta Padmanabha Swami temple, a crocodile that was a star attraction for thousands, lakhs of visitors and devotees every year, has passed away. We pay tribute to this beautiful creature next.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You can go ahead and call her God's own crocodile and possibly the world's only claimed vegetarian crocodile. Some have disputed this, but for devotees, she is the world's only vegetarian crocodile. Well, Babia breathed her last in Kerala's Kottayam. Babia was famously known as the revered divine figure for many devotees of the Sri Ananta Padmanabha Swami Lake Temple in Kerala's Kasaragod district. Take a look.
A gentle giant adored by devotees. A tourist attraction. Loved by pilgrims thronging the Sri Ananda Padmanabha Swami Temple in Kasaragod. 75-year-old Kerala temple crocodile Babia, the most famous dweller of the Anantapuram lake, has passed away. The croc had made the temple lake its home since 1947. Far away from the image of crocs as ferocious predators, Babia was purely vegetarian. Believed to be surviving only on temple prasadam of rice and jaggery offered to it twice daily by the temple priests. There are images of devotees bowing to the crocodile with reverence and even touching it. The animal spent most of its time inside the caves around the lake, only to come out in the afternoon. Babia was considered as a messenger of Lord Padmanabhan himself. Babia's garlanded body was kept in a glass container as devotees and officials paid their respects. Babia's devotees have now bid it farewell. With Shibimol, Bureau Report, India Today.
And I'm joined now by Uday Kumar, who is the chairman of the Sri Ananta Padmanabha Swami Temple in Kerala's Kasaragod. Sir, first of all, our deepest condolences for the passing away of this beloved temple crocodile Babia. She was apparently 75 years old, reputed to have been a vegetarian crocodile. Tell us about what happened, sir. How did she die? She was 75 years old, we are hearing.
Yeah, of course. Shall I explain with the history of these crocodiles?
Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, our temple is a lake temple. It is situated in Kasaragod district of Kerala. It is known as the origin of our Padmanabha Swami temple of Trivandrum. The original Swami Padmanabha was here. Subsequently, he has gone by a cave towards Trivandrum temple. That is the historical story behind this. So it is the one and only lake temple in South India. So in that lake temple, there is a crocodile by name Babia was there. Actually, in the year 1945, there was a crocodile in the same name. It was shot and killed by the British soldier. Subsequently, they have taken the same to with them. So thereafter, within a day, few days, there was another crocodile. By God blessing, another crocodile was seen, and it was named also the same Babia. So from last 1945 onwards, this Babia is in this lake temple, and is a lake. So it is when in the morning after puja at around 8:20, and afternoon puja at around 12:30, we are giving the only prasadam, as we call as a naivedyam, to this crocodile. So from last 1 week, we have seen the crocodile facing some difficulties in his health issues. So subsequently, we have informed the medical team belongs to Maternity Hospital of Kasaragod district as well as Mango. So they reached here and they have tested the same by seeing this. They can't hold this because it seems like a cruel animal. So after their suggestion, we have doing the medical treatment as they informed. But unfortunately, it is a sad news was seen by yesterday night around 10:30 p.m. that our crocodile, goat's-horn crocodile Babia was no more.
Is it true that she was a vegetarian, sir? Is it true really? Because crocodiles are anything but vegetarian. Some people say this is a disputed claim, but what is your experience with this crocodile?
Yeah, from last 5 years, I was a member of this board. It comes under Malabar Devasam board. Subsequently, it was under the board of Kerala government by Malabar Devasam board. From our own experience, from last 5 years, there is no hard injuries or hunting towards the fish as well as other like birds and all. In this lake, there are so many birds as well as fish. Various species of fish are here in this lake. But so far, nothing has been caused damages as our experience.
She will be missed, won't she, sir, Mr. Uday Kumar? She will be missed. Devotees who used to come to the temple will miss having Babia around.
Yeah. Sure, sir. What happened whenever our pujari will call the name of Babia, it will appear and it will as praise. It will be in front of our lake, as we can see this.
And she never used to attack anyone or be aggressive anytime?
Yeah, one more correction I have to add. It is not identified either by male or female.
Okay.
As we think it is a male or female, we didn't identify. So we never, from last, I had experience of only 5 to 6 years, but there are so many aged persons who are working in the temple. As their experience, it is informed that there is no such hazard or attack on any birds, because in our temple there are so many white color as well as black color pigeons are there. So nowhere it is attached to their pigeon as well as other birds as well as various types of fishes.
Well, she certainly lived a long life. And I really wish she could live longer, but we wish Babia, 75 years old apparently, a very happy next birth and a next avatar, and we extend our condolences to the devotees and to the temple board as well. Thank you, Mr. Uday Kumar, for joining us and taking our questions, on this sad day, but also a very proud day, because Babia was a mugger crocodile, one of the 4 species of crocodiles that are found in India. Many of them are vulnerable and endangered. This was one unique specimen of the mugger crocodile that made its home in that temple lake. Many things surrounding it are bits of the faith and the folklore that surround the temple, and how beautiful they really are. So farewell to Babia from all of us here on India Today. That's it on 5 Live. Thank you very much for watching. Up next, Gujarat's niche politics explodes. That's the next big political battlefield in the country. And it has begun in the most explosive manner possible on a day when Narendra Modi is in his home state. That big story with Akshata is next.
Justice, liberty, equality, the pillars that built India. A nation where everyone has dignity and opportunities to prosper. But today, over 75 years after independence, Dalits remain a community trapped for centuries by the caste system, languishing in a dismal state. Nearly 20% of India's population is Dalit. Dalits still live in abject poverty, excluded on the margins, facing atrocities, toxic untouchability, and no opportunities for economic upliftment. The father of India's constitution, Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, fought all his life for the upliftment of Dalits. In the past, many state and central governments have made big promises, but it has been nothing more than lip service. Basic human rights have still not been delivered. Dalits remain downtrodden and discriminated against. This shocking reality is a national shame. Few have dared to break the cage of caste discrimination until now. Friend to the downtrodden, upholding human rights and dignity, championing Ambedkar's India, KCR is showing India and the world our revolution is sparked in Telangana through his path-breaking scheme, Telangana Dalit Bandhu. Approximately 17,50,000 Dalit families called Telangana home, and now they are calling Telangana the land of opportunity. Thanks to Dalit Bandhu, launched in 2021 by the TRS government, a world-first scheme which will give each Dalit family an astounding financial boost of 10 lakh rupees. There are many more schemes along with this which are under implementation all over the state. But Dalit Bandhu is a specially designed program for the upliftment of the Dalit community. It has an unprecedented objective to uplift 17,50,000 Dalit households with a one-time capital grant of 10 lakh rupees per household, 100% subsidy with zero repayment, delivered via direct-to-beneficiary transfer, with a dedicated Dalit Bandhu scheme help desk and monitoring committee at village, mandal, district and state level, and a 10% reservation for Dalits in profit-generating schemes, government contracts and licenses. In addition to this, Telangana has another visionary program for Dalit students, residential schools and colleges, and Ambedkar Overseas Vidya Nidhi, a 20 lakh rupees overseas scholarship, giving them the most powerful tool for success: education. Huzurabad, 2021. The Telangana Dalit Bandhu pilot was launched. Telangana's Dalit Bandhu is a path-breaking scheme that places absolute trust in the beneficiary. Each household has complete freedom and flexibility to decide its business and how to grow their dreams.
నేను వచ్చేసి ఫార్మసీ చదివాను సార్. దాని తర్వాత యాజ్ ఏ ఫార్మసిస్ట్గా చాలా ప్లేస్లో చేశాను సార్. ఎప్పుడైతే మన తెలంగాణ గవర్నమెంట్ ఈ దళిత బంధు పెట్టిందో అప్పుడు ఇంకా నాకు ఎప్పటి నుంచో నా ఓన్గా బిజినెస్ పెట్టుకున్నామని నాకు అంతకుముందే ఉండేది సార్. మన టీఆర్ఎస్ గవర్నమెంట్ దళిత బంధు స్కీమ్ ఒకటి పెట్టి నా ఓన్గా నేను సెటిల్ కావడానికి ఒక ఆపర్చునిటీ క్రియేట్ చేసింది సార్.
Households were identified as beneficiaries and the direct benefit transfer of 10 lakh rupees was made. Each family unit was free to decide how they wished to invest this 100% subsidy. It could be a single or multiple businesses. Multiple beneficiaries could pool their resources to build a bigger business. It could be in any sector of their choice. The sky was the limit. In no time, the stories of transformation began rolling in. These are just a small fraction of the 40,000 success stories that Telangana has empowered through the Dalit Bandhu scheme. In just 1 year, it has smashed records for any Dalit upliftment scheme in the country. Till date, the Dalit Bandhu scheme has been implemented in all 119 assembly constituencies in Telangana. Beneficiaries have achieved prosperity for their families. They have also created opportunity for their community by providing employment and revenue. The resounding success of the Dalit Bandhu scheme has energized the TRS government to accelerate its efforts. From 40,000 beneficiaries with an outlay of 4,441.8 crore rupees, now Telangana government has raised the Dalit Bandhu budget to reach about 2 lakh beneficiaries with an outlay of 17,700 crore rupees, making this the world's largest direct benefit scheme.
దళిత బంధు వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఈ 10 లక్షలు అనేది మామూలుగా అందరికీ ఆపర్చునిటీ రాదు. ఇది పూర్తిగా గవర్నమెంట్ వాళ్ళు మాకు 10 లక్షలు ఇచ్చేసి మీ ఇష్టం ఉన్న వ్యాపారాన్ని పెట్టుకో అని చెప్పేసి అనడం వల్ల మాకు ఇంత ఆర్థిక పురోగతి కలిగింది. అదే కాకుండా మేము ఇంతకుముందు ఒక దగ్గర వర్కర్గా పనిచేసిన వాళ్ళం ఇప్పుడు ఓనర్గా ఉండగలుగుతున్నాం.
Never before has such a revolutionary scheme been designed to end caste discrimination, where Dalits receive 100% opportunity along with 100% dignity.
దళిత బంధు పథకం రాకముందు మేమైతే చాలా స్ట్రగుల్స్ ఫేస్ చేసాము. దళిత బంధు పథకం కింద మేము ఈ ఎంబ్రాయిడరీ మిషన్ ఎంచుకొని పెట్టుకున్నాము. నేర్చుకున్న వరకునే నేను ఫుల్ఫిల్ చేయాలనుకొని ఈ ఎంబ్రాయిడరీ స్టార్ట్ చేశాను సార్. ఇచ్చినందుకు చాలా చాలా ధన్యవాదాలు కేసీఆర్ గారికి, తెలంగాణ ప్రభుత్వానికి కూడా మేము ఎంతో రుణపడి ఉన్నాము.
ముగ్గురం కలిసి ఒక యూనిట్ పెట్టాము. అంటే 30 lakhs పెట్టి ఒక వెహికల్ను ఇప్పుడు అమెరికన్ టూరిస్ట్ షాప్ పెట్టాము. బాగానే నడుస్తుంది ఇప్పుడైతే. అంటే నేను జాబ్ చేసేవాడిని, ఇప్పుడు ఓనర్గా అంటే ఒక కంపెనీ ఓనర్గా ఇప్పుడు ఫీల్ అవుతున్నా. చాలా హ్యాపీగా ఉంది.
జీవనోపాధిగా మిషన్ కుట్టుకుంటూ బ్రతికేదాన్ని సార్. మాకు 3 పిల్లలు, వాళ్ళని చదివించుకుంటూ మేము బ్రతకాలంటే చాలా కష్టమైంది సార్. ఇప్పుడు దళిత బంధు ద్వారా కేసీఆర్ గారు ఆదుకున్నారు సార్. వాళ్ళు ఇద్దరం కలిసి పెట్టుకున్నాం సార్ మిషన్. కోయంబత్తూరు నుంచి వెళ్ళి తెప్పించుకున్నాం సార్ మిషన్ను. నాన్ ఓవెన్ బ్యాగ్స్ సార్. మాకు నెలకు 50,000 వరకు వస్తాయి సార్. 3 జీతాలు 50,000 వరకు వస్తాయి సార్.
For Telangana's leadership, it's not about breaking records, but about ensuring financial freedom for all. Each Dalit Bandhu grant of 10 lakh rupees has an inbuilt 10,000 rupees safety net, Dalita Rakshana Nidhi, to ensure that all Dalit families get financial assistance from the fund at times of distress. To further strengthen this, Telangana government contributes additional 10,000 rupees, which is over and above each grant. A great safety net that has no parallel anywhere in the world. For the KCR government, this is more than just a financial benefit. If any beneficiary of Dalit Bandhu meets with fatal disease or accident, the family should not go through additional depression and hard times. They should remain protected. That is the true purpose of the special safety net designed as Dalita Rakshana Nidhi.
కేసీఆర్ సార్ ఇంత పెద్ద స్కీమ్ తీసుకురావడం అనేది చాలా గొప్ప విషయం సార్. మాలాంటి వాళ్ళకి ఓన్గా ఒక కంపెనీ పెట్టి ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ కావాలనుకునే వాళ్ళ కోసం ఇది గోల్డెన్ ఆపర్చునిటీ.
అదే కాకుండా దళితులు అంటే సమాజంలో అందరికీ చిన్న చూపుగానే ఉంటుంది. ఇప్పుడు ఇది ఇవ్వడం వల్ల
సారు దళిత బంధు ఇచ్చి మమ్మల్ని ఎంతో ఆదుకున్నారు సార్. మాకు మరో అంబేద్కర్ గారు సారు మాకైతే మాటల్లో చెప్పలేము. ఆయనకు మాకు ఎంతో బతుకునిచ్చిండ్రు అసలు.
Under the fearless leadership of KCR, Dalits finally have a government that protects and defends them. Telangana inspires them to overcome oppression and empowers them to be bold, so that each Dalit can move up in the world with head held high, creating their own success story, making Telangana shine, and in turn, India.
Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected device.